A lot of times when I'm walking around, like I come across something, a scene that really piques my interest, and it right away it ignites a sensation to kind of take out my camera, knowing it's something worth exploring. And it could be just minutes off the trail, or it could be like after a long hike. Necessarily, like the amount of effort you put, it doesn't equate into a better photo. Sometimes just having a good subject makes a good photo. And right now, I'm about like 2 hours before sunset, so I'm exploring a small trail here in the park. And I just kind of went out, did a bike ride from my campsite to this trail. It's a 3 kilometer trail, nothing crazy, but it offers like a nice forest pathway. There's a river coming through it. It's quite nice to kind of explore these details. And what I've come across here is I'm a bit higher on this bridge here, like this wooden bridge. I'm a bit elevated, but looking down, there's this river stream coming between the rocks, and there's all this green moss on it. That when the sun was hitting it, it was quite nice. But right now, the sun went behind some clouds. So I think what I'm gonna do in the meantime is kind of set up my camera and you know try to get a picture of that. Maybe zoom in right on that, just frame it up. I have a few compositions in mind. To my left, there's this nice tree that's hanging off the edge of the rocks with the green moss on it, and it's just kind of the moss continues down onto the rock, and it's just a nice S shape in the water. So I want to explore this further and see if I can get a composition here. It's always good to kind of listen to your gut. If something piques your interest, just kind of take out your camera and set up. I really do hope that the light does come back, because there was just this nice strip of light on the rock, and it was just really defining it because the sun's kind of setting this way. So it was just really nice streak of light. And when I wanted to take the picture, the light is gone. And I'm gonna wait it out a few minutes probably. I hope that it does come back, but this is often what happens. As for filters with this shot, I'm gonna start off with no filters on my camera. I'm just gonna shoot with a wide angle lens and try to include a lot of the foreground here. A lot of details that I'd like to include. So definitely, I think a wide angle lens would work best. Yeah, and I'm gonna have to kind of be clever, kind of walking around composing my shot here just to get it just how I imagine the shot to be. And yeah, as of now, I'm not gonna use any filters as well. If anything, I might pop on the Nisi circular polarizer and try to kind of remove the glare off the wet rocks, because it just rained as well. So definitely, that using a polarizer might work in this situation. Maybe not, but that's why I'm gonna start off without. And if I find that I need to go a bit longer, if I want to smooth out the water, go for a longer exposure, I might use the circular polarizer to achieve that effect, or maybe an ND filter. But just for now, I'm gonna stop talking and get set up while the light's not really there. But if it does come back, I just want to make sure that my camera's set up. So yeah, so I'm gonna take a few minutes kind of setting it up, perfecting my composition, and just waiting for the light, and hopefully it does come back. So for those of you that follow my channel for a while, know that I have been shooting Sony for a while. So I have my Sony A7R4 here, and I have the 16 to 35G master lens on. That's what I'm shooting with. And yeah, I do like a wide angle lens, so definitely I think this could work well for this scene. And I kind of raise my tripod as high to the max because I kind of want to look down, and it's always an issue when there's a rail involved in kind of taking pictures. Is you have to go over the rail, and I don't want it to be in the shot with a wide angle lens. And there's a limit of how close I can get. Definitely, I don't want to trample the vegetation, and I do like the shooting from the angle from the top, so definitely I want to keep that. The light did just come back for a tiny second and I missed it while still trying to perfect my composition. I really quite like this picture a lot. I just perfected my composition, and now I'm just waiting for that light to come back and eliminate those rocks. I might have to adjust my exposure once the light kicks in, but I took a one shot here and it looks really nice, the composition. And even without the light, it's still really nice. But I really like to see with the light kind of shining down on the rocks and without, like the compare the two. Yep. I think the light's coming back, so I'm gonna compose a shot here and take it. So what I quite like about this light that it's just dabbled light across the the rocks. So it's not all over the scene. It's just giving this dabbled light coming through the trees and just shining down on the moss, on the rocks, on the roots of the tree. It's really quite nice light, you know. And now, you know, giving the hour before sunset, the light's really nice. So definitely like got a few shots here. Make sure I have them in the bag. What I like about this shot is just the water comes in through the center of the frame and just kind of go out from the top of the frame, so it has a nice leading line in it. And you know, I think the composition works really well. I quite like that double light coming across the rocks and the tree roots, and I think it makes it a bit more dynamic and it makes the shot that much more interesting. And you know, taking this picture, I'm purposely underexposing a little bit just to make sure I don't blow out the highlights. So it does look darker, but I quite like that moody shot. I think it works well here. I think I got the shot here and kind of walk around and try to get some more pictures here. Enjoy the rest of my day before going back to camp. And the mosquitoes are going crazy. But despite the mosquitoes and everything, honestly, it's been quite nice to be back out taking pictures. Because for the last few weeks, seriously, it's just been kind of really rough on me finding the creative passion again to kind of go out, take pictures. It was a lot due to the weather because, you know, it was either raining or we had like smoke in the air because of the forest fires in north of Quebec. And that's kind of a reality of how it is sometimes in landscape photography, is that the conditions are not always ideal for creativity and going out. You know, right now, hopefully that's kind of the end of it. It seems like it's cleared up and I can kind of see the sun again, and it's nice to be back out breathing fresh air and taking pictures. But it's been rough kind of those few weeks just sitting at home, kind of like felt like it was just waiting for something to happen and not being able to do anything about it. And you know, not just, you know, my physical health kind of deteriorated a bit, also kind of my mental health as well. And you know, there's nothing for it than going back to nature to kind of help heal and you know, feel better. Like I've never felt as good as I feel and relaxed only when I'm in nature. I tend to forget all the problems and all the stuff, and when I go back home it just brings me back to reality, I guess. So even if the light's completely kind of gone right now, like it just went behind some clouds or it's behind the mountain, definitely like I have about half an hour before actual sunset. And you know, even though like the lights, you know, definitely like there's no more direct sunlight, it is quite nice photographing something like this here. And these piqued my interest kind of walking on the trail, and I thought it'd be nice to get a picture if something piqued my interest. And I quite like all these ferns in the foreground, but I do quite like the small tree that's growing diagonal. It's got a bit of greenery kind of hovering over it. So it's quite nice, just like almost like floating over the bed of green. And I wish there wasn't a tree just right behind it, but it's okay. I'll kind of make do with what I got and try to photograph something different. This kind of speaks to me, so just kind of get my composition set up here. And yeah, I'm just shooting this wide. I'm doing one more picture here from the same subject, just kind of filling my frame with just the ferns, you know. I think I saw a picture from Adam Gibbs that he did the same he did this thing, and so I don't take credit for this picture. It's just an Adam Gibbs inspired picture. So I'm just gonna shoot this at like a 5.6. I think would be nice. And just gonna fire off a shot here. Just filling my frame with just the ferns, that's it, you know. And I do want it to kind of be soft and blur out to the background, so that's why I'm shooting it at 5.6. Time to continue on.